do it?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Hey, Bridget. Do you want to start with anything? You want me to just get into it?
Go for it.
Okay. Ryan, if we'll consider this maybe sort of an official thing, do you want to say anything from the Treasury standpoint?
Well, I wasn't really ready to say anything. I sent out some scholarship checks. Starting next week, I'm going to start getting ready for next year with emails and new teachers. I'm not sure how we're going to get the stuff to the new teachers, like enrollment forms and all that. Jessica and I are going to start working on that next week. And am I causing feedback? Is that what that is? Sorry, I'm hearing some noises. But other than that, everything looks good. So, I mean, if you guys want to, I guess, I don't know, do I need a motion to approve the treasurer stuff? I don't know.
No, I don't think so. I would just say that if you have any.
No, I mean, the main thing I'm starting next week is just getting everything ready for next year and new teachers and just making sure our membership is up to date for next year and things like that. I mean, I'm not sure, are we doing a new teacher luncheon? I don't know. Are we even going to show up? I don't know. I'm just going to have, Jessica and I will figure it out next week. So that's kind of the, where I'm at with treasurer stuff. But I mean, our checking account and scholarship, like I said, a couple kids, I sent out the money. I'm still waiting on 4 of the other kids to let me know. But yeah, our money's good, I guess.
Okay, I feel like just like I guess a kind of a positive note, we should, if there was any year where we should push to get those last 18 people, members who aren't, I think we could maybe make that push this year. Like, hey, the reason that you're going to end up being safe is because of the work we did, and the reason you have any paycheck that resembles anything decent is because of the work we did. Don't you think you should pay your fair share? Right. That question may be something to bring up this year to those who are just coasting on the work of others, because that's what they're doing. But that's just my 2 cents on that. I want to give some kind of logistical updates on like where we are and some plans moving forward. So next Thursday is the board meeting. You should anticipate getting something from the action team very soon here about voting to ratify our new contract. Jason and Shane sent out a video that gives kind of the updates on the language, and then we had a 2% for year 1 and a 2% in year 2. When Jason said this was a tough round of negotiations, that's putting it very lightly. Our position with the board of the district right now is not a good one. They will be hearing from us frequently, maybe hour by hour for probably the whole year. They have a lot of work to do to mend the relationship that they destroyed during negotiations. And as we get closer to, after we get this contract locked up, we can go into more details if you really want to know what went on.
I want to know.
Yeah, like I'll have those conversations with the people. It's kind of a long conversation, but any goodwill that they want from us, the answer is going to have to be no for a long time. And we'll get into that as we see how things progress. So we hope that we can ratify the contract by Monday, do the same electronic voting we did before. I'm assuming Shane and Jason are meeting with John right now because, quite frankly, they're jerking us around with the language. They sent their edits over, and their edits were an abomination. They left some major things out that we had TA'd, and I'm not playing this game with them. So hopefully, we put it all on the table. They need to fix it and do it quickly. So hopefully that's being done now and over the weekend so that we can ratify the contract, and then the board will vote Thursday night. The board also intends to reveal our return to school plan. I think it's a singular plan. They're not being very clear on that. Many districts are kind of presenting 3 plans, and the board will decide. We are kind of in the 1 plan boat as of right now based on what they're willing to tell us. If you want, I have a copy of the Claremont County Superintendent's kind of back to school document that's been circulating. If you want it, I can send it to you. Just, shoot me a text or an email, or maybe I'll have Bridget send it out just to everybody. But it's not, to call it a plan would be a very generous thing. It's basically like, we're going to try school and see what happens. I summarized it for you. There's that, and they're going to present a plan or maybe plans. We don't know. We'll find out Monday. Monday we have a meeting with the two future presidents and Bridget, myself, and then John and Nancy, and presumably Jenny Berkeley, who we think is going to be taking the HR position as John moves up to superintendent. Fun. So we have multiple people in transition. Not sure what they're working on, if anything. And we have our big meeting Monday morning where we kind of lay it all out there in terms of what we want, which is simple. We want to be safe. And if they can't provide that, then we're going to head down a different path. Most districts, like I said, are saying, here's our plans, and then we'll vote at the next meeting. We don't do that. We're stupid. We're going to present the plan, and then we're going to vote. We hope that maybe the community has a little bit of backlash. And it's like, why are we going to discuss this or maybe think about it? So we're hoping the tide may turn in that regard a little bit. We don't know. So that's kind of where we are logistically. So we have our big meeting on the books, 9 a.m. Monday morning, where we kind of spell it out for them, and we try to get as much answers as we can. We really need this contract to pass. We feel very strongly that it will, a board vote, but it is not outside the realm of possibility for them to vote this down again. It's possible, very unlikely, but it is possible. If they do that, well, fuck them. I mean, it's over. I mean, we're not going to be there. I hope we're not there, but you just need to know it's possible. It's not likely.
So Joe, I know that there was a mediator there. When there's a mediator, that's not binding to both parties? Like, I thought the mediator meant...
I don't think so. I think the board still has the option.
Okay.
The mediator felt that was very unlikely. The district seems to feel that it's very unlikely. Mm-hmm. I also think it's unlikely, but I don't know if I would say very unlikely.
Right.
I'm concerned, but I'm also optimistic that we can get this done. We're in a tough spot because we need this contract. We have to get this done.
Right.
Before we really have additional leverage to do what we need to do. We can't have them holding a contract over us and try to make some progress with ensuring our safety. That's too much. It's just too much. It's not fair. So that's kind of where we are. Bridget, anything to add in that regard? And go ahead, sorry.
No. You covered.
I'm doing a lot of talking. Sorry. And then another thing that I really want to come out of this meeting, Justin suggested we create a committee, a COVID committee. There's going to be a lot of, being on exec board hasn't been a tremendous amount of work, I think, for us, generally speaking, in any given normal year, if we're just dealing with a few issues every once in a while. We are going to have a tremendous amount of work this year in terms of maintaining the legal status and the FMLA status and the Family Cares Act, all the issues that are come up with people's individual health and their rights. So we want to do that today. What we need to do is have some people on exec volunteer to maybe head up the COVID committee. And essentially what we would be doing is this. Instead of all of these COVID issues coming to just Shane and Jason, who will be the presidents here after August, and there are a lot. We already have probably 100 or so individual cases of teachers who have existing conditions, just a lot of stuff, everybody can understand that there's a lot of things. If we set up the committee, we will have all of those issues related to COVID go through the committee, and the committee will then contact Jess, and the kind of chain of command is Jess can handle most of the issues, but if it needs to go to OEA Legal, Jess will take it to OEA Legal. So kind of, it's just setting up, it's dispersing kind of all of the work that's going to need to happen to everybody on exec. And I think we're going to really need some help. Now, I've got members that are willing to help right now. So I don't think we're going to have a problem this time. Usually we have a problem getting people to do stuff. I don't think this is the case. I think people want to help. So really, out of this meeting, what we should do is is anybody willing to kind of head up to be the COVID committee point person or point people? We need a couple people. You can say yes. You could do a thumbs up. Anybody? I'm gonna freaking.
If I wasn't treasurer, I would do it. I just.
No, Brian, you have to. Brian, you're gonna have too much to do.
Right. Okay.
I don't know if I'm qualified to do it, but I will help in whatever way I can.
You are absolutely qualified.
That's kind of my question. It's like, I feel like, I have only common sense and that's it.
Trina, that makes you more qualified than the average person.
None of us is qualified for.
Oh no! Like basically, what it's going to be is you will become an expert in these issues as you handle the cases. Like
I feel like it would be better. I mean, for two people to do it instead of one.
I think two people is a good idea as well. I think we should have two people kind of representative of K through 6, 7 to 12. I mean, the issues are very different. Kind of how Bridget and I split things up. So, is there someone?
Dawn.
So, do we have?
Did you talk to Melody? I mean, I feel like she might want to.
Melody,
I was just gonna say that. I mean,
Melody and Betsy are in. Do you want we don't have to have somebody from Exec B,
Right.
Like, do you want me to ask one of them because both of them said they would do it?
Yes.
I think that would be the best.
I'll
Yeah.
help out if they're in a bind for the high school, but.
Trina, you're going to be in a world of shit anyway. So
I'm thinking that I'm getting like a super bad feeling that like this year for me is going to be a bad year. I don't know. I'm trying not to
that
think
super
that
bad
way.
feeling is going to be. Everybody's going to have that very soon. So I hate to be dire about it, but the reality of the situation is, I'm not willing for us to be an experiment. I'm not.
Yeah.
And to talk about the survey results just briefly, though we had 70% of K-6 teachers want to go back to the building, that was only if things are safe and there's mandates and there's rules and there's plans and strategies and all of these things that I don't think we have.
Well, I feel like if there was going to be more safety in place, we should have seen a shit ton of postings for custodial staff.
Well, that's just one simple thing you would think that has happened. But, because the survey was clear, it was like 90% of people are not okay just going back, just to go back, just and see what happens.
Joe, did you see Forest Hill's plan?
Is that the one that coordinated with the color coding of the?
Yeah.
They
so
had
if they're red,
if it's red, it's blended. If it's purple, it's.
Plan,
virtual.
Jessica?
What?
What's the plan? I didn't see it.
It's basically that if it's yellow, if the zip codes are yellow or orange, then they all go back 5 days. If they're red, Monday's virtual, and then they go 2 days. So there'd be like two different.
Jesse, was that at the beginning of the year, or was that going to be a rolling? Like I looked at that today, but I don't know if
I don't know.
Because that's super complex.
If they're purple,
They thought they were confused before.
If they're purple, it's all virtual.
Yeah.
So I
purple
would
is all
assume it'd be rolling, but my concern is if you're orange and you all go back to school, you're probably going to become red.
No, you'll be purple.
So I don't know.
Yeah, I did look at that plan, and I do think that addresses a few issues, but it also creates a lot of complexity with planning for teachers and parents.
And parents, for sure.
I was kind of all these schools are having like 3 plans. And originally I was kind of like in an all or nothing place because I felt like the blended was just that wouldn't work for the community anywhere. But now that we're talking about we got nothing being remote completely. And then we have all being like, just go back and wing it. Go back and wing it. The blended becomes a little bit more appealing from a safety standpoint. It's still a cluster, but I don't know. We're in a tough spot, and we are kind of at the behest of the board because they're going to vote on the plan.
That's my question. Like, as much as we can talk about it and want to have a plan, I know we've sent our survey results, et cetera. Like, is there is there any chance that this could be changed by our voice? Is there any chance really?
I
That's
think,
kind of my question in the same exact way about the contract. Like, is there anything that keeps them from doing what they want to do?
board,
Yes.
I think the number one thing that we need to have is community support, and I don't know where, I mean, many of you have been members of the Milford community for a while, and I think I don't know where we are with that, but I think things may shift if they do this too abruptly. If they announce plan, vote on plan, and parents feel like they didn't. If parents aren't confident, that's a problem for them. And we don't. I don't think we know where we are. The parents being surveyed when we were at very low levels is a very different survey if it goes out tomorrow. So and I brought this up multiple times. They keep talking about the survey like it's this end all be all, but I was like, listen. 3/4 of the parents who responded to that survey are primary parents. So you have to take that in consideration. And 2, that was done in May before Memorial Day, before things were bad again. Mm-hmm. So it's not valid data anymore, but they're like,
And
data is just
if
too big a word. I don't know.
And if parents had more than one kid, they could have, in like the elementary, it could have been the same parent taking it 2 or 3 times. I had a parent tell me specifically they're concerned about that.
Yeah. So I think the survey results from them or from the community, we're kind of past that. I mean, we're in a different time. This is a pretty fluid situation. Things clearly aren't getting better at the moment. I mean,
And Joe, something else to consider. I know my wife teaches at Forest Hills, and one of the things a lot of people are concerned with is that half their staff does not live in the 3 zip codes that go to Forest Hills. So if you live in a different zip code that is red, you're bringing that into the building.
sure.
So, and I think we're in the same boat at Milford. If we were to adopt a similar plan, I live in Hamilton County, so like I would, if I came, Hamilton County is a totally different ballgame than.
Yeah, we're basically purple. I'm in Hamilton as well. We're basically purple right now.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's a major concern, Greg. This idea that what do you do if your kids go to a different district, and you work in a different district? And there's just a lot of complications, and this is why we need to get this committee going ASAP. So, Caitlin, are you still on board? Because you're hyper qualified for this. You got it. And then I'll put you in touch with Melody, and she's already done. She knows all the research. She's on this. And
Caitlin, I'll help you too. I will. Okay.
yeah.
All right. Thanks.
And then and then Bridget and I can kind of send out just a general like, hey, if anybody wants to be on, we'll send that out today, or I'll put that together real quickly. And then the next step is Tammy, go ahead. I saw you were about to say something.
Be quiet.
I think you're muted, Tammy. I can't. Anybody hear her, Tammy?
Nope.
No.
Type it in
Tammy.
the chat, Tammy.
Yeah, somebody has silenced you. I don't.
She can chat.
Yeah, Brian, I see your comment in the chat. I think we're gonna get there, but we gotta get things ratified.
No, I agree. After that, I think it's, I'm always about trying to keep people informed. So,
Yeah, Tammy's question, should we have someone from each building? We had the notion immediately or kind of initially to have the wellness person in the building be involved, but some of the wellness people aren't members. So I think we'll get enough volunteers. But building reps, you're going to just have to defer a lot of this stuff to the committee too, because there's a lot of circumstances.
Field the questions or whatever, and then direct them to the.
Yeah. We want to have a group of people that are really kind of have the specialized knowledge of what's going on, and it'll help because Shane and Jason are going to be up to their necks in issues even outside of COVID. There's going to be a lot going on this year.
So Joe, I'm willing to help Melody and Betsy, but I don't want to be like the main person, but I will help because our kids are not very good with their droplets. So I feel like I need to be involved. I need to know what's going on.
Sure.
but I don't feel that want to do the whole thing.
No, I hear you. That's fine. I think Melody is more than willing to take the reins here. She's she's chomping at the bit. So, you know.
I got a question. I'm sorry, I keep staying on this. Like Thursday is when supposedly they're supposed to state this to the board, right? And the board would approve. That's the plan. Okay. So, is there anything that we are trying to do before Thursday before that gets that far?
I want to have the meeting on Monday to kind of just put everything out there and see where we are. Like Bridget, myself, Shane, and Jason have all been talking to Nancy and John, but we're not getting a tremendous amount of information. So we need to sit down, know what's going on, talk about we need to just do this meeting. And then coming out of it, I think we'll have a good idea where we stand. And we're handcuffed by this position where we need to have that contract ratified, and it's happening on the same night as the supposed, vote. I mean, the timing could not be worse for us. And our relationship with the board right now, as much as you maybe wouldn't be able to believe this, and I still don't, the board was their feelings were hurt tremendously by the fact that we wrote letters, which is embarrassing. I'm serious. I mean, like, I can't believe they're apparently they're adults, but and I had a long record conversation with Nancy a couple days ago, and some of the stuff she said about what the board has been talking about freaks me out, and I can't get into that right now because I here, but they're kind of just disregard for teachers in general is really freaking me out a little bit. And I don't want to light that fire with them again before they ratify our contract. If they're that sensitive that, we wrote a form letter and, they were mad about it, like mad enough to want to screw us. I don't know. The problem is they've benefited from this fact that they've had no public participation in these board meetings where there's 10 people, it's just them, and they can hide from everybody, specifically us. There's just been a lot of things that have happened that our leverage has been affected because of that. And it is what it is. And the timing is terrible. I don't know what to say other than that. I wish there were things that we could do between Tuesday and Thursday, but I don't think just because the board votes on it doesn't mean it's going to be the way it is. It doesn't mean anything. Community pressure can sway them. There's a lot of things we can do even after they vote. It's not the end all be all just because they voted on Thursday. It will not be the last word. I know that. What else are people thinking?
Just to
Gotta hurry up and wait.
Have you guys, Joe, have you talked to OEA or anybody? Let's say the plan is the worst case scenario where every teacher, every staff member's life is basically at risk. Let's be honest.
That is exactly the situation we're in.
I mean, can we not show up? Can we go on strike and not show up? Have you guys talked about that at all? Or?
Brian, we have a few